Hi guys, welcome back to another Platterful tutorial. Today we're diving into our July kit and prepping all of our cheeses and meats before we build out the boards. This step is really helpful because once everything is prepped, assembling your board becomes much easier and more seamless. So let's get started. First up, we're starting with our rosemary and olive oil Asiago cheese. This is a firm, flavorful cheese with a delicious, savory Asiago flavor. And the rosemary and olive oil add a really nice, herby, aromatic flavor. For this cheese, I like to stand the piece upright on its side so the long, flat side is facing me. Then, starting at one end, I'm cutting from left to right into thin slices. You don't really need to make these paper thin, just aim for fairly even slices that are easy for guests to pick up. Once I have my slices, I'm going to gently lay them on top of one another, slightly overlapping each piece. Next, we're moving on to our Montmore Cheddar. This is a really delicious, rich cheddar with a slightly sweet, nutty flavor and a beautiful, naturally crumbly texture. Because of that texture, I'm not going to try to make perfectly uniform slices or cubes. Instead, I'm just going to let that cheese do the work for me. I'm using the tip of my knife and gently pressing it into the cheese to break off small, natural pieces. You can think of this almost like chipping or crumbling the cheese rather than cutting it. Some pieces will be larger, some will be smaller, and that is exactly what we want. The natural variation makes the cheese look really beautiful and rustic on the board. For those of you with the large kit, you also received our Cumin Gouda. This cheese has a smooth, creamy Gouda texture with a warm, earthy flavor from the cumin, so it really has a delicious, savory flavor profile. For this one, I'm going to keep the rind intact while I cut the cheese. I'm starting by making one long cut down the length of the cheese right along the inside of the rind. Then I'm going to turn the cheese and make another cut across the shorter direction. Once I've made those cuts, I can lift the rind away and I'm left with the center portion of the cheese. Now I'm going to cut that center piece into cubes. I'm making straight cuts in one direction first and then turning the cheese and cutting across those slices in the opposite direction to create small, bite-sized cubes. Now onto our meats. This month we have 2 packs of Calabrese chubs that are already sliced, which makes prep really easy. I'm starting with a salami rose using the small cup included in the kit. You can absolutely use any small cup or dish you have on hand that's a similar size. I'm going to start by layering the salami slices around the inside of the cup. Place one slice against the inside edge, then add the next slice so that it slightly overlaps the first. For the center of the rose, I'm taking 5 slices and laying them down flat, overlapping each slice about halfway over one before it. Then I'm going to fold that row of slices in half, hot dog style, so the round edges are facing upward. From there, I'm going to loosely roll the slices from left to right. This creates that beautiful, tightly curled center of the rose. Once it's rolled, I'm placing that centerpiece right into the middle of the cup on top of the slices we layered around the edges. You can gently fluff the outer slices with your fingers to make the petals look a little bit more natural, and then it's ready to place directly onto your board. With the remaining slices, I'm making little sections of a salami river. For each piece, start by folding the round slice in half, then fold it in half again so you end up with a small folded section. I like to make several of these little sections and place them throughout the board. They're really simple, but they add texture and height and make the meat feel a little more styled than simply laying the slices flat. I also made a simple salami ribbon using 2 of those folded pieces. Take 2 of your folded salami sections and interlace them together. You're essentially weaving one piece through the other to create a little ribbon effect. It's a super easy way to add some variation to your meat presentation. For those of you with the large kit, you've also received pepperoni slices. For the pepperoni, I'm making more little sections of the salami river using that same folding technique. Start by folding each slice in half and then in half again. This time I'm placing these sections facing upward rather than laying them down. That gives them a slightly different shape and helps create some variety between the Calabrese and the pepperoni when everything is styled together. And finally, I'm making one more simple salami rose. For this one, you don't need a cup at all. Start by taking several slices of salami and slightly overlapping them in a line. Then gently fold that line of slices in half and loosely roll the slices together from one end to the other. The key here is not to roll too tightly. You want the outer edges of the slices to stay a little loose so they create those pretty petal-like edges. Once you have your rose shaped, you can gently adjust the outside pieces with your fingers to make it look fuller. If you're worried about the rose falling apart, you can always use a toothpick to secure it through the center. And that's it for the prep portion of our July kit. Now that everything is cut and shaped, we're ready to start building out the boards. Stay tuned to watch how I put everything together. And for those of you with the large kit, you can skip ahead about a minute into the video to jump straight to your tutorial. As always, don't forget to tag us in your creations. We love seeing what you make, and be sure to check us out on Instagram for even more inspiration.